Well, Americans, did Congress just pass a law that would infringe upon your constitutional rights, reaching into your very thoughts and observing what you're thinking about, what you might be talking about, and most importantly, what religion you are allowed to practice? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about how this draconian law that has come into effect supersedes your religious rights, your freedom of speech, and your constitutional rights. That's right. Congress has just passed a law under the guise of being against anti-Semitism. However, these terms we have found have language put in them as the titles, so that if you question what is happening, such as I don't like this law because of what it actually says inside of it, then they can come back and say, oh, you must be racist. That is the doublespeak, what I call the witchcraft of languages and bills, so that they can make headlines and say, this senator voted to be racist, when in fact, you're looking at a law or a bill that is racist to its core. In fact, it is thought control and it is unconstitutional, giving what seems to be now a minority or a foreign country control over your very thoughts. This new law that Congress passed, after being lobbied, sanctioned, threatened, and supplied with bribe money, let's say, to cause them to be swayed into voting this bill that now federally outlaws the theme and the teachings in the Bible. This country, as we know, was founded by Christians and pilgrims fleeing religious persecution. They fled to America so that they could have religious freedom and start a new country where they were not under these threats and they were free to worship as they saw fit the Creator God and to read and preach the Bible. Now what has happened in this law, disguised as being protecting a certain group of people, introduced within it is the ideas that you cannot question Israel. No matter what they do, it is a federal crime now to say what they are doing is not humane. What they are doing may not be for our Christian principles. You are not allowed now under federal crime to speak about that. It can be classified now as hate speech. Think for yourself. Sit back for a second. Think for yourself. What happened to the Christian community that caused us to become so sleepy that now someone else is running our government? Someone else is buying off senators and congressmen. They no longer are thinking for the 85 million people who claim to be Christian in the United States. They are under the influence of a very tiny and small group of people claiming that they are offended by your religion. Well, what happened to your religious freedoms? What happened to your religious rights? What happened to the fact that your ancestors came to this country, founded this country on the principles of the Bible, and now someone else has come in, still representing a minority, and says you're no longer allowed to worship the way you used to worship. The theme of your religion is now going to be outlawed based on our feelings. And no matter the fact that probably over 90% of these Christians help to fund a country that we now established, and we have supported and given billions of dollars of our tax money to this country, and in return, we are going to suppress your congressmen, threaten or bribe them, and take away your right to practice your religion. What I'm doing is telling the truth. Christians, we tried to warn you many years ago that you had become yourselves Judas. You went back to the scribes and Pharisees. Why? Because he had betrayed Jesus. Now, let's think about this for a moment. Israel can be Israel all at once. That is true. They have a right to exist. Everyone should have their own country if they desire, so long as they are not committing inhumane acts. Who was the money, the banking system, the people who may have been behind profiting? And we all know war is for profit. Who controls these organizations that got America to do these sorts of things? That is a question that would be smartly asked. But right now we have a greater and more threatening situation. That is that the United States of America has just reached the point of George Orwell's 1984, where they are getting ready to place thought police on every American campus to monitor what people are saying, to make sure that it doesn't say anything not nice about a foreign country in the United States who's supposed to have freedom of speech. In fact, the founding of our country was based upon that if you had a tyrannical government or leaders who no longer represented you, that you had the duty to overthrow that government. That is how far our freedoms were supposed to reach. Now think about it. A law has just been passed that says you can't even practice your ancestors' religion that was founded in this country. Who controls your government now? Why, when you try to vote, do you feel like there's something wrong with the voting system? Why are our foods being poisoned and manufactured with chemicals in it? Why is the price of food going up astronomically, matching what has happened to other foreign countries in the past 2,000 years, where there was manufactured food crisis? Did you know that over 190 food manufacturing plants mysteriously were destroyed in fires or different events in less than 2 years? Mysterious trains crashed and poisoned places. Events taking place we can't explain, driving up our economic cost of living, almost doubling or tripling the price of groceries or cost of gas. Many people blame the president. However, the president, we see, is surrounded by people who make, lobby, and press decisions based off controlling of banking interests. The American Christian right now is your ultimate time of wake up. What has just happened? You've just seen your government officials who are supposed to represent you completely defy 85 million Americans. Did you know that it wasn't just the woke left or the Democratic Party? A majority of Republicans voted to suppress the Christian religion, making it illegal to mention any it is the historical writings in the Bible known to be a fact. It is not a question, because there is multiple writings in history matching the Bible, talking about the facts of the historical events. The things that they have declared illegal are scriptures in the Bible that say that the Jews killed Jesus or participated in persecuting Christians. I want you to sit back and think about this heavily. Your religion, the basis behind understanding the historical events of what happened, have now been outlawed federally. You can have your pastor in the pulpit talking, and federal agents burst in like a SWAT team and arrest everyone in your church for participating in hate speech. Now, this is the greatest victim narcissist bill that has ever been passed in the history of America, where a minority can claim that they may be offended and take away the religious rights of 85 million Americans. I want you to think about this clearly. If you have been Judas and you have had pastors paid off for the past 40 years preaching a message to you to unite yourself as Judas, Hello, this is Dan from the Christian Life Network and the Sons of Light. It is our mission to train Christians to become all that Jesus said you could become. Right now, we are facing a crisis within the church where our governments and our church leaderships are falling short of representing Christian initiatives. Right now, Christians represent middle to lower income earnings within their countries. They also are getting sick at the same rate as the rest of the population. We are running into mass problems within the church. It is not that these things cannot be resolved. It is that it is training that is needed to help each and every Christian be all that Jesus said we could be. He said that we should prosper even as our soul prospers, and be in good health. So it is our initiative at the Christian Life Network and the Sons of Light to help each and every Christian become everything that God said we should become. He said that He chose us special. We are the chosen people now. So if you would like to better your life, increase and become all that Jesus said we could become, please check out the link in the description below